I want to talk about how do you think about your goals when you have 8,000 things running through your mind. Now, listen, I'm recording this in December. So we're getting ready for the planning challenge. And some of the feedback I've gotten from people is, I'm not ready. Like, I cannot think about January. And I still have so much I need to cross off my list in December. And I hear you. But I want to tell you that by thinking about your January goals now, you're doing yourself a massive, massive thank you. This is some self-care for you. So I'm going to give you tips on how do you kind of quiet the noise of everything you have going on while working on goals, while planning ahead, while being in the thick of all the things. I'm going to give you some strategies that are proactive versus reactive. So some things that I've done to get myself ready for this, some things you can do if you're joining us on Monday for planning to get yourself ready, and also some things you can do when your brain is super spirally and squirrely and doing all the things. Because I will tell you, I plan things out. I am pretty on top of my task list. I find myself to be a very driven person, but I am also not very motivated all the time. I also get overwhelmed, and I also still have a list of things that just keep popping up for me in order to get them done. Okay, so here's what you can do now if you want to start thinking about your goals for 2025 or beyond, right? If you're listening to this on the podcast in the future and it's January and you're like, I'm coming off winter break, I have all these things I need to get done, I don't know what to do. The mindset of 15 minutes is going to be your best friend here. I don't want you to think I need to go spend 4 hours a day working on my goals. That's not the point. The point is, can I spend a little bit of time? When you can wrap your brain around it's 15 minutes, I can get things done in 15 minutes. Now, our 2025 planning, I'm going to give you the meat and potatoes, right? I'm going to teach in about 20 minutes, and then we're going to spend the rest of the time answering questions and working. So I also have this thing set up for you that you don't need to spend hours getting it done. If you can wrap your brain around, I don't have to do it for hours, I think you're going to be in such a better place. So as you're going to attack your goals, remind yourself the goal is not, I'm going to do this forever. I'm not going to spend my entire Friday working on these things. My goal is that, can I do 15 minutes? And add to that, 15 minutes is enough. 15 minutes is enough time to make traction, to get started, to read a book, to do your exercise, to get your planning in general done. Once you can wrap your head around, that's why I wrote the 15-minute formula. That's why I have all these frameworks in my programs, is because I found that many moms are trying to just do it perfectly and do it go big or go home, right? Like they need to do it full out. I'm going to work on things for hours at a time, or it doesn't matter. Your small chunks matter, and they can count if you allow them to. So step one is get your head in the space of 15 minutes is going to be enough time for me. 15 minutes is enough. Okay. Now, I know there's a lot going on. So when I'm planning my week, one of the things I make sure that I do is I put 15 minutes a day for any of my goals. It doesn't mean every goal. I think sometimes people hear this and they think, okay, I need to exercise for 15 minutes a day. No, you can do it 2 times a week. I don't care. But if you have multiple goals, I recommend you have at least 15 minutes a day for one of your goals. What this is going to do is it's going to allow you to feel more confident in, I'm showing up for my goals, I'm doing these things, and it's going to allow you to move forward. So when you're planning out, okay, I'm going to work on my goals. I'm going to set these goals. I'm going to do planning. Like even planning itself is a goal, right? Like getting your plan done for the new year is a goal. So I'm going to do all these things and I'm going to plan. Ask yourself, where is it going to go? And I want you to proactively pre-plan. So if I'm talking to the people here in the Facebook group, hey, Lisa, I see you getting on, right? Or if I'm talking to you in January when you're listening to this on the podcast, if you are planning for the next month, that is a goal. So I want you to put in your schedule now 15 minutes a day minimum to work on one of your goals, and allow that to be enough. I'm going to work on the goal, and your goal can be, I'm going to plan. Now, why do I think it's important to start planning early? Is so that you're not feeling scrambled. Now, this is a nice proactive strategy. I try to start my planning like the second week of the month for the next month, and I do it so slowly so that it doesn't stack up, because when all 5 steps of my planning process stack up together, they can take an hour, right? An hour and a half, and I don't want to do that. And so by giving myself 15 minutes a day for some of my goals, it allows me to know I'm working on things, maybe not at the pace I want, maybe it's a little bit slower, but I'm working on them in a way that's going to allow me to move forward. So yeah, you have a lot going on, but ask yourself, where can I put 15 minutes in my day to work on my planning? Where can I put 15 minutes in my day to work on any goal you have? My decluttering, my podcast, my reading goal, my craft goal, like whatever it is. And I want you to pre-plan it. So if I'm talking to the people who are coming to 2025 planning, do you have in your schedule written down not only when you're going to come join us to watch the video if it's live, when you're going to watch the replay, because they do expire on Saturday. So if you have a free pass, you got to watch them by the weekend. If you have VIP, you get lifetime access. But also, when are you going to implement? I want you to pre-plan that out now. That allows me to be intentional. When I have a lot of things going on, coming off break, starting break, coming back from vacations, illness, my brain gets very flustered very easily. And so if I know in advance, hey, this is the 15 minutes I'm going to work on this specific task, it's one less decision I have to actually make. So every week when I'm planning out, I say, this is my goal for the week. Where's it going to go before the week starts? This allows me to just show up and not also do the act of thinking about what I have to do. Okay. Now, let's talk reality right now. When I'm recording this live, it's early December. My task list is also very long, okay? And things just keep popping up. I got to remember to do this, and then I forgot about this. I'm at the point where I want to cross things off my list. Like I have the little stuff. My son is in Cub Scouts. Our den is helping run the pack holiday party, right, with one of the older boys. So we have to, each family is responsible for wrapping 3 Amazon boxes so we could put them up at the decorations, okay? It's like such a small task, right? But it's a task. And so I don't need to hand this in until the 17th, but I was like, I'm going to cross this task off because now I can say, oh, one less thing on my task list, one less thing to do, one less thing for my brain to wrap around. So that is my third tip for you today is going through your tiny tasks and making sure that you have a list of what they are. So when you have these small chunks in your day, you can get them crossed off. Today, for example, I want to start wrapping my Christmas gifts. All right, it's what is today? December 5th. I'm going to wrap them. I want them wrapped and done because I'm pretty sure I'm done shopping. I have like 2 gift cards to buy and then I think I'm done. So I want to wrap so I can like mentally check it off my box. My labels, I ordered some labels, they just came. I can get everything done and I can just move on. And that mental load being removed from me is what's going to free my brain up to work on the other goals I have in December. Now, I don't have a lot of goals for December. It's a very rest and restorative month for me, but there are a couple things I need to do, a couple goals I want to work on. I've got some reading goals. I've got some books I want to read. Like I want to work on those things. But when my brain is in fight or flight, when my brain is like, but you have to wrap the Christmas gifts, right? But you have to make the menu for the holidays, but you have to do like plan these last 2 Girl Scout meetings. Like when my brain is all that. And then of course the kids come home with the December calendar of the spirit days. And then I've got a pretzel and then there's animals coming. I'm like, what is happening, right? Like there's just all the things. I want to be equipped to handle the things that get thrown my way. So if I can complete the tasks that I know have to get done in advance, then the stuff that gets thrown my way and the decisions that I have to make don't feel as daunting, they don't feel as overwhelming, and they feel more manageable. So how do we do this? How do we get there? I want you to make what we call a thought catcher today, all right? I want you to go through and you're gonna take a piece of paper. Here, let me grab a piece of paper. So you're gonna take your paper, all right? And you're gonna fold it into 4s. Sorry if this is loud on the mic, but we're gonna fold our paper into 4s, okay? Now you're gonna need a second piece of paper, okay? This is where our task list is gonna live in this little quadrant zone, but you're gonna get a second piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, you're going to break it down by the category of your life. So for me, these are things like Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, cheer, kids activities, school stuff, like all of these side categories that don't make up my goals, right? Like all of those little things I need to remember, errands, administrative, phone calls, appointments, like all those things. And you're going to brain dump it all. You're going to get it out on paper. And this is especially great now in December. This will be great in January to start the year. I want you to write them by category, all the tiny tasks. You're going to look at that. You're going to step back and your brain is going to be like, oh my God, that's so much to get done. Like I have so many things I have to get done. Maybe, but also, right, because these things aren't mutually exclusive. You can have a lot to get done, but they don't have to take a lot of time. I want you to hear that again. You can have a lot on your task list, but it doesn't mean they have to take a lot of time. So if I was to make this list, on my list would be things for Girl Scouts, for example, right? We have one more meeting before the year ends. I've already planned it. So I need to just like collect my materials. We're doing a holiday party, right? So it's easy. I just have to make sure I have everything I need. I need to order, I need to pick up cookies because we're decorating cookies. I need to wrap the girls' presents. We got them t-shirts, troop shirts, and I have their badges that I have to separate. Okay. I also have an email I need to write to the parents. I have to submit, we're going to Disney on Ice. I have to submit our head count and our money. I need to balance our bank account for the month of November. And I need to set up the volunteer schedule for the new year. Those are pretty much all of the things I need to get done for Girl Scouts from now until the end of the year. Nope, I thought of more. So as I'm going through this list, see how my brain is starting to get jogged. I need to meet with my co-leader so we can plan out January's meetings. I want to draft January's meetings so that I already kind of have an idea what I'm going to do. I got 10 things there, right? We'll stop there. Okay, so you see how I just keep going and the things keep coming in my head. That 10 things can feel really overwhelming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on my sheet under Girl Scouts, and then I'm going to kind of rank them in order of urgency. And this is where our other piece of paper is going to come in handy. What are the things that need to happen in what order? Okay, this way I know, like deadline wise, like I don't have to draft my January meetings, right? Like I do not have to. That's what we call a Q2 activity. That is something that is important, but it's not urgent. Okay, I have to wrap the t-shirts to give to the girls next week. Like I have to do those things. So I want you to rank them in order of urgency priority, okay? And in parentheses next to that, what you're going to do is write how much time you think it'll take. Okay, so for example, I just said I need to balance the bank account. Now let me step back. In order to balance the bank account, I don't have access to online banking for this account because it's a Girl Scout one. I have to go get the printed statement from the bank. So I need to go to the bank to get the statement, okay? To drive to the bank to get the statement and back, that's probably a 20-minute task, right? Like if that's the only task I'm doing, I could probably do it while I'm out today, whatever, 20 minutes. Okay, to balance our bank account, I can do that in 10 minutes. It does not take me long because I do it every single month. I'm just checking to make sure everything's done. Okay, so I've got those two tasks. So I would write 10 in there. To wrap the gifts. Now, I've also delegated this task. So two of my friends were going to start watching Lost from the beginning. And so I said something, I don't know, I asked for help. I said, listen, can I bring these shirts to Lost night and we wrap them? Because they're all parents in my Girl Scout troop. And they're like, yeah, sure. Perfect. I don't have to do them on my own. I can get help. It'll happen a little bit faster. Okay. To sort the badges, I could also get help with that. But in general, that's a 20-minute task for me to go through and sort and bag everything up. Okay. So I know how long things are going to take. I have it written down. What this does is it takes the brain spiral of, I have so much to do, and it allows it to become manageable. It allows it to become doable. And so I'm going to take this big task list of things. I said 10 things. I'm going to write them in order of urgency. When is the actual due date for these? When do I actually have to do these things? And then I'm going to put in parentheses how much time they take. I have now taken this overwhelming task and I am now in control of it instead of it being in control of me. So when other things are trying to pull your attention, you can take this list and be like, all right, now when am I going to do it? Now, what's great about having this list is when you have 10 minutes. So last night, I went to drop my daughter off at cheer. I ran a couple errands. I had to go to the bathroom. So I was like, let me go home before otherwise I would have just stayed out and ran errands. I was like, let me stop home. I'm passing my house and I'll hang out here. And I had about a half hour before I had to leave to go pick her up from cheer. My son was like, let's play a game. Cool. So we played a quick round of avocado smash. Good game. If you guys don't know that one, it's a new one in our house. And then I had 15 minutes left. And I could have easily been like, let me open my phone and scroll it. And there are some times that I do that, but this is not the season. This is the month where I have so many things I want to get done. I want to get the tiny things crossed off my list so that I can spend chunkier time with my book. I can spend chunkier time working on my other goals. I can spend chunkier time doing what I want. So I thought, cool, I have 15 minutes. This is where I could say I had the Girl Scout bank statement. I have 15 minutes. I'm going to take this statement and go balance it, and then I'm going to leave. And it's that mindset of let me use these 15-minute pockets on the stuff that's, I don't want to use the word inconsequential, but the stuff that's less important in the big grand scheme of things, right? My Girl Scout things are important, right? They are. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't want to be spending 3 hours a week, which is sometimes about how much I spend on Scouts, in one chunk of time doing things. I would rather bang it out in these tiny 15-minute pockets so it doesn't, quote, feel like I'm spending this time. So if I have 3 hours, I want to go watch a movie, a Christmas movie, and cuddle with my kids. I want to go put the tree up. Like, I don't want to be doing those things. So what this strategy does is it allows me to take a breath and say, here are my tiny tasks. They're organized. I know the order. I know how long they're going to take me. I'm going to now use my pockets of time to work on those smaller tasks. So when I have bigger chunks, for me, I'm going to work on my planning. January planning, 2025 planning is a big goal of mine. I would rather spend a half hour, if I have it, on that than, you know, running errands. So why not use my tiny, tiny pockets? Because a lot of the times, the school stuff, I have to fill out this paperwork, I have to find $1 for the pretzel sale. Like those things add up. So instead, if I literally wrote pretzel paperwork, $1, I don't carry dollar bills with me. So whenever the school does stuff like this, I go right into my husband's change drawer and I'm counting out dimes and I send them with dimes. I do not care. I will count you 100 pennies for a pretzel because my pennies are going to spend just like that dollar bill, and I'm not going to go find a dollar bill, right? But that takes me a couple minutes to do, right? So I would rather get those things done, get them out of the way, cross things off, and feel more accomplished. Like, wow, great job, Cara. Look at you showing up. Look at you showing up. And then I can take the more important part of my brain that I need to focus on planning, and I could use it there. So I know you have a lot of things going on, right? I know you have a million things running through your head, but if you're watching this live, I just want to encourage you to sign up for the 2025 planning challenge. Come join us next week. Spend tiny pockets of your time planning, even with everything going on. Getting started with it now is going to make it feel so much better. And listen, if you're on the podcast in January, at purposedrivenmom.com/podcast 440 is where show notes are going to be. You've got this. Okay. You can do this. I know things feel overwhelming coming off break, going on to break, but just take a breath and ask yourself, what are the small things I can get done so that I can spend more of my time doing the things that matter the most? Have a wonderful day, and we'll chat soon. Bye.